Hi there, Lucas Bunton. I'm here beside James Hardie outside the local town hall. James Hardie was Britain's first Labour MP. That fits in perfectly with the themes of Scottish independence and national pride and what Scotland has to gain itself by independence. But it's more along the lines of the identity. I'm standing in the Baird Museum, which is Cumnock's local museum. I'm standing in front of the mining equipment that was used before the Thatcher era and the shutting down of the mines. Hopefully I will be finding out if the mines was the reason for Scotland's identity or if there was any other reasons that Scotland has its identity, and if lost, how it can regain its identity.
I'm very much in favour of independence for Scotland. I think the opportunity is here and now for us to make a fresh start and to try to remake Scotland, a fairer Scotland and a more prosperous Scotland. So it's a wonderful opportunity for us.
I think the vote for independence is a good thing. One of the main reasons I think that is because it's going to finally, hopefully, put an end to all the speculation whether the country wants independence or not, and we'll find out once and for all, you know. So yeah, I think it's a good thing. I think mining gave parts of Scotland an identity. I don't think it gave the country as a whole its identity. Certainly Ayrshire was a strong mining community and other areas throughout Scotland, but not the whole of Scotland. But yeah, it did give this part in particular an identity.
No, I think mining's only a small part of Scotland's identity in terms of heavy industry. We had shipbuilding, steelworks, we had a large, vast and varied cultural identity which is adapted and modified, but we still currently have a unique identity here in Scotland. Yes, I grew up in the Cumnock area, and when I was a child the pits were open in this area.
Yeah, as I grew up, Cumnock was a mining town, and because of that, almost every house in your street and throughout the town had somebody working in the pits, whether it be dads or big brothers or uncles. There was high employment, not high unemployment as it is today, so it was good. Yeah, there were lots of things happening. People had money to spend, obviously. So yeah, I remember it well. It was good days.
I certainly do, not just Cumnock, but large parts of Ayrshire were very much dependent on the mining industry for employment and for business. You have to remember a lot of engineering works were located in Ayrshire as well, and they helped. They got work from the mining industry, so it employed an awful lot of people. And indeed a lot of the communities in Cumnock and Doon Valley in particular were built up as a consequence of the mines being here. So it is very much part of the identity of the communities in this part of the world. Undoubtedly, I think back in the immediate post-war years, heavy engineering, mining and the like were still very much staples of the Scottish economy, but in the last 30 years or so, obviously most of them have gone. So we've had to move on and find our living in different ways.
Cumnock, the surrounding area, has definitely been affected by the shutting of the mines in terms of demographics and economy. Unemployment's significantly increased, but that also coincided with the closing of various aspects of industry such as the factories as well.
Yes, I think, and not for good reasons. I think we've struggled to replace mining as an economic activity. So when mining went, a lot of jobs went too, and we've seen a decline in economic activity in the area to such an extent, obviously, that people have had to move elsewhere to find work, or have to travel to work a lot more than they did in the past. So we are still struggling to come to terms with the loss of mining in the likes of Cumnock and the Doon Valley.
I think a vote for independence would help the whole of Scotland, not just Cumnock, but certainly it wouldn't do Cumnock and Doon Valley and the surrounding areas any harm. It could only be beneficial in the sense of gaining a bit of perhaps self-confidence again, could encourage people to invest in entrepreneurial skills, which has been sadly lacking. So yes.
I think the vote for independence would not only help Cumnock, I think it would help Scotland as a nation. I think it would give us a confidence and a self-determination, because I think, be it that the Scots get a kind of a bad rep, certainly as being mean and as being this, I think in terms of community spirit, there is always that there in Scottish people and we communities. That's their kind of core, and I think having our own nation and our own rights and how we are able to run our country would create a motivation and an energy, hopefully in Cumnock and also as a wider nation.
Do I think if Scotland gains independence, it will return to the great identity it once had? Well, I really don't think that Scotland's ever lost its identity. I think Scotland's got a great identity that they've always had. I don't think whether we gain independence or whether we don't gain independence that Scotland will lose its identity. I mean, we're known the world over, Scotland as a nation, as a people, and I think the people of Scotland still maintain their identity, whether there's a yes or a no vote, and they'll keep that identity. So I don't think that we've ever lost it.
No, I think if Scotland gains independence, it will develop and enhance and help create a brand new identity. One of the great things about Scotland is that we're multicultural and we embrace differences.
From James Hardie to Adam Ingram, Cumnock has the most interesting people I've ever met. From the library to the museum, it's just full of community spirit. The thing that hasn't changed though is with independence, Scotland can and will regain its identity for being the great nation that it once was.